Hi, I'm Glenn, City Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, we're just doing a little catch-up. It's a little cold this morning. It's Saturday, October 24, and temperatures were about the 40s. And so, well, we got to do a little other things to do this morning, but we also able to knock out a few fishing flies, upcoming preps for the Blue River. It's going to be stocked here in the next week here. So what do you want to have for our fly box? Well, got my little Altoids deal here. Or wait a minute. Oh, this one still has the Altoids in it. No, all right. This one should have the flies. So tied up a batch of flies, ones that we like to have in particular in our arsenal when we're hitting the Blue River. We fish them tandem, and in some cases having two of them in tandem give it enough weight to get it down to the bottom, or at least where the trout are lurking. So this round I got you well, I'll do it in the order that the fishing flies I tied them in. It's going to be an olive near deer, and then tied two of them, two mop flies using a dubbing loop. Kind of like using the dubbing loop because it's easier to tie than trying to tie an egg pattern. And then additionally, when we apply the Velcro to it, we can tear it all up and it still stays in place without coming apart completely, and giving us the right bushiness from the egg yarn onto the what's supposed to be, I think, some kind of emergent or some insect that has this sack-like thing in it. So that comes from a mop, dust mop. Anyways, that's the mop fly. And then two John Deere. All right, that's the origin of the near deer. And I don't have it painted with the green head and yellow eyes, but for now, we're just going to tie them kind of naked like that. So this round, we've got the olive near deer, we've got the mop fly, we got a John Deere, and you can take a look at some of the past videos of how we fished these on the blue, and was fairly successful with them. And of course, we've got a variant of a gold rib hare's ear nymph. That's not going to be in today's video, but it's just a quicker pattern that we tie. Just basically the bead head, the rib, the dubbing, and then a little bit of the, I think it's a pheasant tail, or either the pheasant tail or the hare's ear mask that we use for the tail as well. But that's not in today's video. The other ones are, though. So do check it out, and then also check out some of the other videos that we have related to the blue, because it looks like here in the next week, we're going to have some trout over there in Blue River, Oklahoma. Oh, and by the way, we'll also put a short clip on at the tail end of the video explaining how we use this Altoids piece and some foam to set up how we use this as a fly box. Okay, so first up is the olive near deer. We'll start out with some olive Dacron tying thread, lay a thread base, snip it off, and get ready to build up a little section at the end and put on the strung marabou olive. There we go. And we'll just set it just about there, and it's about the length of the from the eye to the bend. We'll put a little copper wire. This is the thin one. You can use a gold one if you want. I like to use copper because, well, that's there. And of course, we've got the saddle hackle next. And then the chenille. This is a sparkly one where we kind of trim off a little bit on the tip here just so that we lay a nice connection with the hook shank. And then we'll take advantage of the peak rotary vise and be able to do a rotary spin on it. We'll secure it, snip it off, and we'll get ready to Palmer wrap the saddle hackle. All right, so we'll get it on there. We'll secure it in place, snip it off again. And next up is the copper ribbing. And we're almost done. We'll just get that secured in place. And once we have it secured, next thing we do is a helicopter it to break it off. And then we'll do a whip finish with the whip finish tool, snip it off, and apply a little head cement, and be ready to go. The olive near deer. Good stuff. Okay, next up is the Mop Fly. We'll use a 1/124th ounce jig head, and this is the same one used for the near deer. And and some white Dacron thread, little Mop Fly piece, as well as some egg yarn. We'll lay down the thread, our thread base, snip it off, and we'll secure in the body, which is that Mop Fly, or that mop little node, I guess you call it. We'll put a little glue on it, secured in place, and we'll use a dubbing tool to lay the dubbing loop, and this will allow us to apply the egg yarn and wrap it around so it stays secure, because we're going to use some Velcro to kind of spin it and make it really fishy looking, or insect looking. So here we go, snip it off. We'll do a little trimming after we get it secured, and once it's secured, we'll use this whip finish tool, and the rest of it, once we snip it off, is going to be basically taking the scissor and trimming it. And what we'll like doing is we'll do an initial trim, then we'll follow up with a sweep of some Velcro. And what that does is it kind of pulls out some more of those fibers, so it sweeps back to the body, and then we'll snip it off some more. And there it is. Key thing about this is it's fished the other way, so flip it over, and you'll see that right over there, you want to make sure that hook bend stays open. A lot of times when we were first tying these, we kind of close the gap with that egg yarn body as well as the Mop Fly body, and by keeping that, you were able to make sure that we had some better hookups. Alright, let's go on to the John Deere Fly, and this is an easy one to tie. It's basically, again, putting that thread base, put a little piece of marabou on here for the tail, get it secured, snip it off, and then we'll do some little chenille. It's the thin chenille, I guess the smallest diameter that it comes, in a green color. In this case, we're not going to use a paint or anything to paint the jig head, because normally it's a green color with yellow eyes. Instead, we'll just leave it as is. And there we go. Just wrap it, and once it's wrapped, well, let's just do it a little bit more, and then we'll secure it in place here. And once it's secured with a few wraps, snip it, apply the whip finish with the whip finish tool, get it secured, snip it off again, and then work on cutting it right at the bend so that little tuft of marabou shows. And that's it. And that's the direction that'll be used when you fish it. Alright, and there it is. The Mop Fly, the olive deer, and the John Deere Fly. For the bonus, thanks for sticking around. This is where yours truly is going to take the Altoids container and convert it into a fly box, just using some foam, closed cell foam. I think it's like the 2mm. All we're doing is just adjusting it, cutting at the corners, fit it in there. We're not gluing it into place because we want to be able to take it out later. Once we have that in place, we'll make about some of these strips, about 3 of them, and then we'll super glue them in place. And sure enough, there you go. Altoids container into a fly box. All right, next time we'll catch you all there, and good luck and good fishing.